Kid Addiction, Kid Addiction, Ali, and Ostroy, that's who this is, New York club. So Pretend Pro. Pretend Pro can only get only one thing I can think is Milan to San Remo. That's going to be an epic ride, a long ride. It's the longest classic of the pro calendar, and it's like the monument that pretty much starts off the monuments of cycling. So why Pretend Pro and why Milan to San Remo? Because when I was about 21, 22, I was doing stupid mileage. I mean, stupid mileage. And that was my strength. Just if it was longer, the race was longer and harder, I did well. Case in point, what was it? Did a race in California. Man, I can't remember the name of it. I used to roll off my tongue. But anyway, we went to the race. It was a 120-mile schedule for the Pro 1 race. And we had more teams than usual show up. This was U.S. Postal before they were still a continental team. Clark Sheenahan was leading that team. Darla Rogers, I think he was Subaru Montgomery. Satin was there, and a couple other pro teams. And the race director's like, we got a big field, over 200 riders, and I think that I should throw an extra lap in there, make it 140 miles. So most of the guys who I train with and raced in the NorCal area were like, 140 miles, you crazy. And for me, that was perfect, because for the last 3 years, I had been doing 2,000 plus preseason miles, like 2 months of 500 miles a week, like leading up, just base miles. So I was ready, and sure enough, I did really well in that race. Finished in the top 10 quite easily, and I could have did a whole lot better, but I flatted pretty much close to the last lap. But I could have done a whole lot better, and I felt amazing. I mean, it was a windy, open course, and it was almost like the wind wasn't there. There was like about 20 or 30 echelons. I think I was in echelon 20, and as I just bridged from each echelon to each echelon, sitting on my wheel was Darla Rogers. And we finally get up to the front where Clark Sheenahan was, because he eventually won the race. And Darla comes up to me and says, yo, man, that's a nice bike you got there. Where you get that bike? So that was his way of saying, like, thank you for the tow. I didn't even know I was towing anybody. And come to talk later in the race, he said, yeah, man, I rode your wheel all the way to the front echelon. So I just literally, each echelon was probably maybe 100 meters to 200 meters apart. And I just like literally just hit the wind, and no one else could follow. And Darla was the only one that followed. I he set my wheel right up to the front. We got up to Clark Sheenahan's group, and there were about 12 riders. And then the funny thing is, I missed the cue from Clark, and Clark talked to me about it afterwards. He said, dude, you really need to pay attention, because he gave me a good look, because he saw me come across and bridge up everybody. He gave me a good look. He said, I'm going. He looked at me. I saw him look at me, and I was like, I was really hesitant, because I was still like new into the sport, so I wasn't quite sure of my ability. And he gave me a good look, like, yo, right now, dude. And he went kaboom up the road. And I just sat there and I watched him. I'm like, were you supposed to go? Was he telling you something? I just sat there and just watched him and go up the street, and I ended up just finishing in a bunch, in a respectable position, but it could have been so much better. So anyway, all that was to say, Pretend Pro, Milan to San Remo. That's what we're going to do this year, Milan to San Remo. Pretend Pro. I hope you enjoyed that story.